If we're all in agreement, we'll start. Call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, we have come to order, and the first item of business is approval of the agenda. Relatively short one today.
On the web.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none. We'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item was approval of the previous minutes, being the board meeting, May 25th.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of May 25th. Further discussion?
Under commissioner reports, Bob, did you attend a hazardous waste meeting?
No, it was a hazardous collection is what.
It was under yours, Eric, but Bob had an extra one.
Oh.
Did you go to a meeting or no?
No.
Or was that?
I
Okay.
thought you met with that other group on theirs.
Oh, that was coming up. I remember that, Bob, didn't you state that in your, that you had a meeting coming up?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was, Allison.
Okay, I'll change that in the minutes.
Okay.
I approve the minutes with those changes.
I second it with that.
So further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is public comment. See no. I guess anybody got a public comment? County employees have the right to do that as well. I hear no public comment, so we will move on to the COVID-19 update from Public Health.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
Morning.
Not a lot to report that is new. Our immunization rates are still pretty strong. We didn't see a lot of change over the holiday weekend, but at the end of last week, there was some change in the dashboard at the state of Minnesota. We're not exactly sure what happened with that, but it happens. We see it a little bit in the number of cases as well. Sometimes they'll bob up and down. And I think when we're down to relatively low numbers of new cases, you see those little anomalies and adjustments a little more vividly. The MIC program, Heather, is that Minnesota Immunization
Information connection. It's just the electronic immunization record.
So anytime we or anybody does a immunization, they're supposed to report it to MIC. And I think what you see with some of these slight adjustments in state numbers is that the state is constantly looking at the numbers and making sure that they're accurate. Sometimes we'll see number of cases and we'll go down one, and it's like, well, how did we get rid of one? It's probably just that they looked at the data and saw that they counted one to our county that they should have counted to somewhere else, or those kinds of things. Across the river in Wisconsin last week, there was a pretty significant change, probably about 15, 20 cases they went down. They probably ended up giving those cases to different counties or whatever. But when our numbers are low, you kind of see that a little more vividly than when we were seeing, hundreds of cases a week. That change it didn't result in any changes in our numbers, but it resulted in some changes in numbers in other counties. And as a result, our overall ranking improved slightly. So we still have very, very solid immunization rates. 16 and over is at 69%. 65 and over is at 99%. I usually pause there because, from a public health perspective, the people who were at some of the greatest risk and most vulnerable were that 65 and older population. And to see that, virtually everybody in our county has received the vaccination, that's really encouraging. Total population, 57%, and 12 and older now we have a number from the state and we're at 66%. All of those put us in the top 10. And in most cases, in a couple of cases, we're in the top 5. So again, our region also is really strong, and the company that we have in that top 10 are a lot of the counties in southeastern Minnesota. So that's also really encouraging. The other thing I'll turn it over to Heather to talk a little bit about is kind of where we're going with immunization. And as you know, we are not doing any of the large scale clinics anymore, but we still have an immunization strategy. And so I'll turn it over to Heather to kind of update you on that.
Thanks. Yeah, right now we have the J&J vaccine, and so we are offering that on various days and various times. And we're not seeing that, the slots that we have or appointment times, we're not seeing those fill very readily, but we're still continuing to offer them and do our best to meet those needs. The reason it's just J&J and not Moderna is with Moderna, as you are well aware, is a 2-dose vaccine series. And it, if we did 10 Moderna today, those same 10 people would kind of need to essentially come back on that 28-day mark or so. And so there is more coordination. So when we were doing, I would say, pretty much weekly clinics at the community center, there was a little bit more leeway with getting people in. If they couldn't make one clinic, they could make another. The smaller numbers make that a little bit more difficult without getting into the arena of wasting vaccines. So that's just something we want to be mindful of. And our healthcare partners, across the river have done an amazing job, working with our residents, vaccinating those who seek healthcare there. So, we've done certainly our part and our share, but that lion's share with the healthcare partners is really what's encouraging, reaching our residents in the county. Are there any questions about anything?
Well, on the Johnson & Johnson, is that when you open a vial, how many doses are there? Or
5.
5? Oh,
5. Mm-hmm.
okay. So then most likely hopefully you'll get 5 when you have, yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, that is the hope. So, it's worked out so far where if someone drops an appointment, someone else picks that up. We're also working kind of, internally with partners to, we don't really have a waiting list readily available like we did in the beginning. But we're doing our best to, utilize those doses as best we can. Bob, did you have a question?
A question with regard to the numbers that John stated before. The 16 and over was upper 60 percentile.
69%.
69. And then you said the 12 and over is
66.
66. But that's not 12 to 16. That's lumping the 12s in with the 16 and over.
I believe so. 12 and over.
We know, the 12 to 16 really isn't very good percentage then.
It's not a large number. If you go deeper into the dashboard at MDH, it'll give you periodic look at how many in that age group have actually been vaccinated. And I think when I looked last week, I don't have it up right now, but I think it was 160 some or whatever. I expect that those numbers will continue to climb because they just started getting that information. I don't know, what have we been approved to give that, or that has been approved for use for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. So,
And now with school out of session,
yeah.
getting the information out is a little more difficult.
Yeah, we, as we mentioned at the Joint Board of Health meeting, we have been in contact with our schools and, offered assistance. I think proximity to La Crosse is something that is slightly different demographically for Houston County than it is for Fillmore. And they also do, they have a contract with some schools to provide school nursing. So they're a little more on site on a regular basis. But our partnership with the schools have been really strong throughout the pandemic. And I think you've probably heard from some of those school leaders that they've appreciated our approach. And, as it relates to school age children and vaccinations, we're part of that discussion and will continue to be, and just want to be as supportive to those partners as we can.
I did look on the dashboard, and Bob, for the age 12 to 15 for Houston County, the state's reporting there's 159 individuals in the 12 to 15 age group that have at least one dose. So they would all be Pfizer eligible as that goes down to 12.
Not bad for remembering it 4 days ago. I said 160, so I got to take credit where I can.
Can't get no closer than that.
Yeah.
Any other
No.
questions for Senator Heather?
One other thing I want to note with the Johnson & Johnson, I think we've said this before, but those are still appointment only. And that's due to the number of vials or the number of doses in a vial. So it isn't like people can walk up and just get a dose. And that's because, I suppose if they showed up with 4 other people, we'd be able to do that. But it's appointment only at this point. And I think it's also supported by the fact that there isn't a waiting list. And Heather mentioned, when we would have a no-show during one of our large scale immunization clinics, it was easy to fill that because there were so many people waiting. That isn't the case now. And we started doing Johnson & Johnson again because we had just done one clinic with it and there seemed to be a fair amount of interest in it. And apparently we've gotten pretty far through that because we don't have a waiting list for that either. But we still are trying to fill appointments, and so we're seeing obviously much smaller numbers of people that we are immunizing. But our healthcare partners across the river are really stepping up their efforts.
Greg, you had something.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering, Sterling Drug up there, are they still giving shots, or what kind of a vaccine are they using then? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, we do try to connect with Sterling. That's a great point, Greg. Thanks for bringing that up, because I do believe they offer Pfizer as well as Moderna. I don't know if they have necessarily control over which one they get. I don't want to speak for them or speak out of turn with that. But for instance, last week when we had our J&J clinic, we had a few people that needed Moderna second doses. And so we were trying to just kind of scoop up the remaining ones, if so to speak. But we did reach out to Sterling because we also wanted to be mindful if they had a small number, if they could send their people to us or vice versa. So we were fully utilizing a vial. So we do stay in really close communication with them. But I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think they have a set date or day of the week or time of day that they do those. We just try to check in with them periodically to see what we're doing. So we're kind of, both on the same page, I guess, and encouraging residents to do that if they're looking for Pfizer, which we don't have, or Moderna, or so on, to connect with their pharmacy.
Thank you.
That's good to hear that you guys are in communication with them. And I know you are with other clinics as well. So I think all in all, you guys have done a great job.
Heck of a good job.
Thank you. We have an excellent team. They've really, really done our county proud.
Numbers speak for themselves, you bet. Anything else? Otherwise, we will move on to the consent agenda, consisting of 4 items. Any issues or discussion with regard to the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. Action items. We have one action item on this docket. That's consider the approving of the Dunn Blacktop quote to mill 2 inches off existing bituminous wedge and pave the areas in question. 2 areas, County Highway 3 and County Highway 18. Brian.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. So these 2 areas, one is on County 3. This is the area that the pavement was moving, warped out of shape. We put in a scab coat of asphalt to kind of try to make the ride a little bit better for last summer and fall. The area hasn't moved drastically over the last year. We think it's a good time to go out there and do a thin mill and overlay to get that ride better for the summer and hopefully it'll last a few years. You know, we're happy that the movement has continued as much as what it has in the past. So we feel this is a good solution at this time to do something with that. The second area is on County 18, also within Brownsville city limits. That area is complete full depth failure of the pavement in that area. It's all busted up and it's like you're driving on a little gravel section now in that area. So I want to do both of these patches here in the next month or so whenever the contractor can get out there.
What caused the breakup, Brian? Boils or what?
Yeah, we're gonna go out there and dig up. We haven't dug down to find out exactly what's in there for a base section. You know, there's nothing that really shows that area is being drastically wetter or different than the other section other than the pavement surface. So we're thinking that the pavement's probably just a little bit, or the base is probably a little bit thinner in that area, but don't know for sure.
Is that on 18, you mean there?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but we're going to dig down and put some new rock in ourselves with county forces, so that's not included on this quote. So.
The County Highway 3 project, is that, I mean, you said it hasn't been moving very much. Does water table affect that? I mean, is water table down a little bit right now that it's not affecting it?
You know, we really haven't determined the full cause of what's happening out there. We did have Brown go out there and do some soil borings trying to figure out what's causing the movement. We do think that the water tables caused some issues with that, but we don't know 100% for sure. We know what we think would work for a solution, trying to put some lighter fill on top of the lower peat and underlying soils that's 20 feet down. The movement first started probably about 6 years ago. And we watched, you know, it held up good for the first 10 years of pavement out there. And then it really got warped over a 5-year time. Went to mill it off, fix it, and then it continued to drastically moved the next year. And then this last year, within the pavement, it's only moved about 1/4 of an inch on the pavement area. Some of the slope areas have moved 3-4 inches. But the majority of it is, very little movement this last year. So if the water table stays down, hopefully it'll stop moving.
Thank you.
Probably a couple springs in there too, ain't there, coming out?
It's over an old, riverbed, stream bed area. It's underlying, wetland on both sides of the road at that location. It's just a wet area in general. So, there could be springs.
I guess it needs to be fixed because I had the opportunity to drive over it a little bit there in the last few years. So I think I recommend following the recommendation of our engineer and move to approve.
I'll second
Motion made and seconded to approve the Dunn Blacktop Company quotes for County 3 and 18. Further discussion? Hearing none, we will vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
it. Yes,
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, before you leave, can we ask you a couple of sign questions? No, he already left.
Well,
Oh.
you're back.
I'm here. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, did you hear any more about the signs in Mount Prairie Township
No, to be honest, I haven't approached the township yet on that issue. I was gonna, and then I got tied up with some other more pressing matters. So I will be doing that though this week.
Okay, also, Bob, did you talk to Brian about those couple of signs for Wildcat?
No, I did not yet.
Okay. It's on my list. I have to check things off,
I understand.
Okay.
What's that for?
We had somebody that has some highway signs that are 10-mile-an-hour speed limit signs that he offered to, if they work for Brian, to use in Wildcat. And I was just following up on it.
Oh, for entering it, you mean, or?
Yeah, I don't know where, somewhere down there. We just had somebody that had some signs that were highway approved, and we had to work with Brian on it, so
Okay.
we'll see.
I can talk to Bob or find more about that.
Yeah.
I did talk to the commissioners on the Parks Committee and the sheriff's office as far as what statute allows 10-mile-an-hour posting and stuff, so we can put some more 10-mile-an-hour signs out there, and it's enforceable. So, but we do like our signs to be make sure they're reflective at night and everything in good conditions. So I'll follow up with Bob afterwards.
Follow up with Bob because he has the information, I believe.
Okay.
At least that's what my notes say.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So we're not talking about driving by it. We're talking about entering the park, right? Okay.
Yes. 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 In the park.
Yes. Yep.
So we will move on to discussion items.
Oh.
And Teresa, as long as you said you have your list and you're checking it off, we'll let you go first.
Well, I don't have a heck of a lot. I had the meeting that Bob organized with some of the townships and city people for the solid waste, and we had good discussion, but I will really let Bob speak on that matter. Next Monday, I don't know if everybody has it down, but we go to Lanesboro for our district meeting. Maybe we could carpool. I'm fine with that. I have to drive from La Crescent to Lanesboro, so Dewey, if you want to ride, or pick up Eric in Houston, I don't know. Just some thoughts on that, but we have to be there at 8 in the morning. So, and of course, we had our Board of Health meeting. I sense John and Heather's frustration that Fillmore County kind of took a lot of control over that meeting. But I thought our county did just fine. They did a good job too, and they were hosting it. So, and I'm glad you answered that, Eric. Other than that, I don't know if Donna has our bill yet. I have all this checklist, you know, my.
Not yet. When you get done, I'll let you know.
Thank you. All right. That's about all I have right now.
Dewey, what do you got?
Not much. I visited the city's meeting here the other night, and that was kind of quiet. Gonna ask, we're still canceling tomorrow meeting for EDA then, Alice?
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, not much else going on up here. It's, you know, with the city doing all this stuff, I don't get the calls like you folks do, I guess.
Say thank you right now.
Eric, what do you got?
I don't have a whole lot either. But I wanted to bring up a couple of things and let you guys think about it and how we go from here on the comprehensive land use plan.
Oh,
You know, that's kind of got tabled.
yep.
I shouldn't say kind of. It did get tabled because of the COVID, and we were going to have some more public meetings on that. I don't know if something to think about is whether we want to pick up where we left off or we start all over. And maybe entertain the idea of getting some professional help to help guide us through that and get it done. And so I think that's something we need to seriously start thinking about, see as how things are getting opened back up some more, and I think it's something we need to get done.
When was the last plan done?
20 years ago, because the last time they just approved the current one the way it is, and so it's been over 20 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, probably should start. I don't know,
Yep.
but I was just gonna say, if we don't have anything to go by, 20 years is a long time. Maybe we should have to start from the beginning.
We do.
I guess from what I understand, we're going to have a personnel meeting coming up on the Environmental Services Office here in mid-June. So,
I don't have that down.
well, it's not a date. It's not an official date. It's just it was relayed to me that that's the goal.
Okay.
The applicants for the position, I mean, it's closed and I think there's 6 or 7 applicants.
For the personal tech, yeah. I don't think they got any applicants for the sewer inspector.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got. I'll have to see Teresa on next Monday if I want to drive myself or have you guys stop and pick me up. We'll see. I can't plan that far ahead.
Greg, what do you got?
Well, most of it was pretty much been answered that I wanted answered. So I guess, got a highway shop meeting Friday morning. And as far as that Lanesboro thing, I probably ain't gonna be able to make that. I got a doctor's appointment, so I gotta take care of that first, I guess.
That's right.
But, don't go up through Canton because there's construction up there, so go through Houston. Go up 16 if you go.
Where is your construction, Greg?
On Highway 21,
Oh, okay.
but when you go up to Canton, you go straight across the Lanesboro.
Yep. All right.
From my perspective, I had a Selco meeting last week on Tuesday evening, and I went through their budget and everything, where their finances are at. I think I have to get a hold of all the township chairmen and talk to them about, you know, their request for that $40,000 for wage increases because that all falls on the townships. So I would like to get input from the townships as far as what their thoughts on that, because it seems to me that amounts to about $5 a person in the townships. And like I said, we were all at the Fillmore Joint Board of Health meetings. The committee meeting in Hoka with regard to the waste and recycling. Lots of thoughts on that as far as ideas, and there's some things that a few people are going to look up, some of which could be reducing manpower and not having hands-on as far as taking the garbage out of vehicles and whatnot. Maybe reducing one site and some different types of compactors to be more efficient. So we'll have another meeting Wednesday and have more information to bring. I'm going to check with Sam with regard to that driveway situation and flood elevation situation. I want to talk numbers, but I just as soon do it in a closed session if it's at all possible, because of the potential legal aspect of it. I'll check with Sam, and then the next meeting we can, one way or the other, we'll talk about it at the next meeting. And that is all I've got to bring up.
There's another thing I forgot to mention too. I wanted to bring up the idea of some of this money that we've gotten already from the grant money. I don't know what's the official title on that anyway. But Allison, what is that?
American Rescue Plan dollars.
Okay. Do we want to consider doing another round for businesses? Because if we do, we should probably seriously consider that and get that accomplished right away. And then we can have more time to focus on what to do with the rest of it as far as broadband or infrastructure. Just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Do you think we need to do more for business, or should we focus more on the broadband and put a larger amount on the broadband?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I feel the businesses who are who survived are coming back pretty good, and I'm not sure if that would be a place to send it right now. I think the broadband and the infrastructure and all the other things that are, for lack of a better word, long lasting would be possibly better.
I think we also have to include IT updates in the courthouse
Mm-hmm.
in our next plan, our upcoming plan, because we really need to move forward on that. Get it done right. I don't know if the businesses, I haven't talked to too many businesses, well, where I get my hair done, et cetera, like that, but they're doing fine. They seem to be okay right now.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to get an idea from you guys and what you were thinking. I can agree with a lot of that. Just that I know that some of them might be expecting that they're going to expect something out of that money, but I can certainly see where we could. It'd be me personally. I would like to see it used for a broader scope of the public to be put to better use. But
Yeah.
Maybe the next EDA meeting, they can come back with some recommendations.
well, the EDA usually looks for guidance from the board too. So, but yeah, we certainly will do that at our next meeting.
Is that tomorrow, did you say?
No, it's canceled because we didn't have anything coming up.
Oh, okay.
So July.
Greg?
I do agree with you that we need to focus on our IT, broadband, anything we can do county-wide for the good of everybody. is more important right now than the businesses seem to be that are still hanging in there, seem to be doing fine with the opening up. Unless anybody else has heard differently.
Allison, have you been contacted by many businesses, or was it just more when there was the talk of the money coming?
Yeah, not recently. When they first announced that the money was coming, I did have several inquiries, but I just kept saying that it's coming, but we're not sure yet, and then it will be a commissioner decision. And I have not heard anything recently, but I don't know if that's just because everyone who was wondering reached out right away. So I haven't heard anything recently.
Greg, you were going to make a comment.
Yeah, let's see here. I almost forgot what I was thinking about. So, let's see. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Well, I think what maybe you were referring, because I was going to bring this up too about the Crooked Creek watershed, soil and water. They've been left out of some of this money, and they were wondering because, and there's been some updates since the last time I heard about this, but their bid came in way over their estimate, and so, but they've changed some specs on their project to lower that somewhat, so they're not as short as they once were, but they just wanted to let us know that, you know, if there's any chance of maybe this would qualify for an infrastructure expenditure.
Did they not get the state money for soil and water?
No, they got all their money. It's just that their bid came in, the original bid came in 160,000 over the estimate. So, and
Wow.
and of the money they had. So, I think they've lowered that now since they've changed some specs. They're going to get rid of the hydro seeding and just do manual seeding with straw mulch. But so that lowered it down to 90,000, I believe.
Okay.
So
And just to clarify, you're looking at two different things too. You're looking at soil and water. They also, and then you're looking at the Crooked Creek watershed project, which soil and water helps with, but they are their own entity.
right. They're
Yeah.
their own,
So just
yep.
two things there.
And they have their own level levy authority and all that. Yep.
State agency.
Would that be legitimately considered a infrastructure?
I would think so. Isn't a dam an infrastructure?
Yeah, but they're under the state. They're a state organization. They're not a county.
No, Crooked Creek watershed is its own entity in the county,
Yes.
and they have their own levy authority. They're not with the state.
Right.
Soil and water is their own government entity also, but they do not have levy authority.
Correct.
I am assuming that they've already budgeted and levied for part of this project in the first place. It's the fact that it's gone over budget.
Well, yeah, they have money from the one watershed plan grant money, and they also had used all their money that they have that the Crooked Creek watershed gets. So actually, they pretty much drained the money they had to help get this project going. So,
So I think it sounded like it was a $600,000 project, and they have,
it went to 760 or 780,
yeah.
for the final bid. Yep. I guess the devil's is in the details and on how, if this would qualify to contribute to, but we'd have to look into that. I don't know, Greg, if that's what you were referring to or not, but
It was part of it. So,
okay.
The other part was I talked to a couple of the bar owners and they're real happy and they've got some of them small business loans they've gotten through the PPE and they're talking about getting them, maybe they won't have to pay them back. So I think all the businesses are, and she told me to put it into broadband or put it into something that countywide could use. So that's kind of the direction I was told that we should try to do. But do we have any direction or any rules or regulations yet? I don't know.
Well, they're coming out.
Allison, you haven't heard anything yet specific, or what is your thoughts on this, being the EDA director?
It's hard to say.
You're looking forward to doing another one?
I mean, I'm only going off of what I've heard from people, but perhaps people aren't reaching out to. I don't want folks to be upset if we, don't do another round to help businesses, but we did do a lot with the CARES Act. So,
Yes, we did. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
We helped them get over the hump, and now if people are seeing some better days. So I think we'll see. I think we need to look at countywide stuff.
I do think broadband is a good investment, and that will also help some of our businesses, the broadband thing. And Spring Grove Communications has reached out to me. They came to our EDA meeting just for a meet and greet. And then we just said that we would follow up when we knew more as far as guidelines.
have we hear anything from Ascentec?
Not directly, but I did speak to someone there and just let them know that we would bring them in the conversation when we speak to Spring Grove Communications again.
I guess the other question is, can we just go with Spring Grove and Ascentec, or is this something that's got to be bid?
Well, we'd have to do it equally, or spread it out amongst the two. There's also the the third situation here with a large part of Caledonia area is not affiliated with either one of them. So
Strange map.
yeah, that map situation, I don't know, not everybody's probably seen that, but
Right.
there's I don't recall the company, but that has the contract for that area, and they have the rights to it, but they're not really doing anything as of yet. I haven't heard anything, but
MediaCom?
no, it wasn't.
Is this Caledonia City Townships type idea area?
No,
Yeah.
it's kind of rural areas. And it might be a good thing for the next work group session to possibly have Spring Grove Co-op and Ascentec, present what plans they could have to have it done in the amount of time that, we have, because they're projects that take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that would probably be good. And in terms of the Crooked Creek watershed, I'm assuming that would fall under the stormwater infrastructure, because really what that's doing is protecting.
Freeburg.
Yeah, Freeburg. We might want to look at the other structures that are within the county. The Winnebago, I think they just did some upgrades on that.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
There are other structures that we could possibly, take a look at too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think next work group session should probably be a focus on ideas for using this money. And I guess I'm hoping that there'll be a little bit more guidance before that time that we'll get out to you.
That's a good idea.
At least we give them an idea to get their plans in a row, so when things do happen, it's shovel ready, because as was said, it takes a long time to plan these things, and sometimes the money don't last that long, or it comes too quick and they aren't ready.
Well, I know Ascentech has been already started on their project, and they got a loan through EDA too. So I don't know if they've activated yet, but so that they're working on it right now. So
Well, and that's for a project that they already have going, that they already really have secured all the funding for in the Houston area.
yep.
So in terms of a project in the Caledonia area, would they be able to get that going and get it finished in the time frame that we have? But, you know, it goes through, we have to have committed by 2024 and funds spent by 2026. So
Yep.
I'm thinking that that would be a possibility.
Right. We have time here.
Hmm.
And they have time to plan and get it accomplished.
I don't think Spring Grove and Aztec get along very good because they're suing each other over a line that runs right past my place here. So I don't know if we want to invite them two to the same meeting or not. I don't really care.
They'll be in separate rooms, Greg. They'll be fine.
And really that's not our concern.
No.
You know, how they deal with it. We have this money, we need to benefit our county, and
Right.
if they want some of it, they'll need to
Step up.
present a plan.
Yeah.
You know, the Ascentech plan and the Spring Grove plan, is that hardwire or is that towers?
It's fiber.
It's fiber, okay.
Fiber optic.
Spring Grove, right? Yeah.
Okay.
It's fiber I know out to my place. So
Well, we can see the ped, but we can't connect to it.
Me too.
Mhm.
They want $16,000 to bring it to my house.
Well, come on, Greg,
just write the check.
take care of that.
Are towers not a part of the program? It has to be fiber, it has to be hard?
Well, Aztec
Yes.
doesn't have a tower, they have a receiver on the top of Paul Frickey's silo. And they distribute that to about 10 farmers in the area, and that's all that one of them receivers can hold, I guess. And they're looking to build some towers or get some places to put some more receivers, I guess. They're coming up from Iowa with some towers right now, and they haven't come up this far yet. So maybe a little help they can get here.
But no, broadband is hardwire.
Right.
No.
Yes. Well, we need to have them come and present their plans and needs, and before we can move forward on giving them any of the rescue plan.
Yep. Like Carol said, at least we've got some time.
Mhm.
But time flies, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anything else?
So should I reach out? Do you want me to reach out to Ascentech and,
Spring Grove.
yes, yep, and invite them to the work group session? Okay.
I think so.
And then are we planning to meet in person for the next meeting with the hybrid option? And I just want to state that so that if anyone watches this, they know that.
If it's ready, I can be there.
It's just about ready.
Okay.
So is our next meeting next Tuesday in person?
I believe so, yes. Yep, it sounded like from what Andy said this morning, he thought it would be ready, so.
And it will be hybrid capable, correct? So
Correct, so we shouldn't have to post anything because
Yep.
it'll be the same Zoom link and everything that we've been using, but then if anyone from the public wants to join in person, that would be okay too.
And the commission wants to do it from home on a Zoom, they can still do that.
Yep.
All right.
Then Bob, our community service meeting at 8 o'clock would be in person then too, apparently?
I have not heard that. They pushed that off until the 10th, so I would assume it could be in person. Did you get that notice?
No, I didn't.
And we'll have land use, won't we, Teresa, next week?
Yes, will that be in person?
I assume that'll be Zoom.
Okay.
Julia was wrong. It's the CJCC meeting that pushed off to the 10th. Community service is still next Tuesday. You're right.
I'm assuming they would actually be in person also. Otherwise, how are you going to get to a meeting here if you're
Well,
Zoom
we bring our
the
computer.
other?
Community service likely will not be in the courthouse. It'll likely be a Zoom meeting only from the point of view that community services, all these schools and whatnot, and they aren't all going to show up here.
No, community services, human services, and
Yeah, but all right, never mind.
Bob Phone. Veteran service, right?
Correct. So would your preference be to have that in person, commissioners?
Sure.
We'll plan on that then.
I suppose we could do land use in person too. It doesn't. We'll have to. We'll reach out to them and see what they think.
Brian usually sets it up. So Brian, can we meet in that conference room? He's not there. Well, we'll check it out.
Yep.
But otherwise, you just bring your computer and Zoom that meeting and then
That would
I mean,
work too.
not a problem. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to utilize the old commissioner's room just to have more spread out if people are concerned that way too.
Yeah.
If they want to do it in person.
okay.
Any public
Oh,
comment?
another question I got. Board of Equalization. What was the date on that? Do you recall?
Yeah,
15.
15th at 6 o'clock.
Okay, I got to find out from Luke if I think I'm up for training for that. I should probably check with him on that.
Eric, I can check on that for you.
Okay, Donna, could you do that, please? Thank you.
Yep. hmm
I passed my training.
I'm certified for another year yet.
Anything else before I ask for public comment? Hearing nothing, I will say, is there any public comment from anybody?
Dick needs to talk to Carol, and he's been sitting here at my side and just got a phone call, so he left. But he needs to talk to her about Bob Butcher Park. So,
Is that a public comment issue or?
no, yeah, he thought he would bring it up at the meeting, but he'll call Carol after.
Okay. Hearing no public comment, we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn for discussion. Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Please, it's 55 minutes.
It's a record.
Together.